Hey everyone, PC Casual Gaming Dad here, and I'm back with a Grim Dawn Reign of Terror Diablo 2 mod, Fist of the Heavens Paladin, patch 0.7.0.1 build guide. Wow, that was a mouthful. So, as promised, following my coverage yesterday on the new patch notes that I went over, I'm going to be doing a handful of build guides. I don't know exactly just how many yet. Most certainly this one and a Hammered In, they're the most popular requests that I've seen and had, and some of the more popular builds in Diablo 2 as well, especially for Paladins. So I'll be doing some build guides on these in the near future, starting with this one. If you're watching this afterwards on my YouTube channel, as all my videos that go on Twitch inevitably reach my channel, then if you like what you see, please leave a like and consider subscribing. And I really encourage you to leave comments in the because giving me feedback. One of the reasons why I'm even looking and making these videos right now is because I did have some feedback from a viewer, and so that's how I know what people are looking for and what they're interested in. Otherwise, I'm just going to be covering things that I'm doing myself, but if there's something specific you're looking for, that's how I know. Okay, so your support is appreciated, and it makes my time more worthwhile. With that being said, let's get started. Okay, this is my Paladin Barbarian, and one of the nice things I like about this build is that it does not require you to specifically have the Barbarian as a secondary class. This build will absolutely be viable in Hell mode as a Paladin, and you'll see that some of the things that I've chosen, just one second. Sorry about that. Some of the things that I've chosen, I'll show you, are optional, and I'm going to go over the specific things that I feel are mandatory for the build to function properly. And as of this patch, this build received significant buffs, and it is very strong, much stronger than it was beforehand. I can tell you that yesterday, after I covered the patch notes and I updated it, which I had already done first, and I took a quick look, and then I went back in after I'd gone over the patch notes, and I did some tweaks, including this new Shards of the Heavens, which I'm going to cover in just a bit. And all I'll say, spoiler alert, is I wiped the floor with Bale in Hell mode. And compared to before, where he took me, it must have been at least 15 minutes to bring him down. I brought him down real fast. He barely got out those clones that he makes once you hit a certain point, and he went down shortly after that. So much stronger. So you don't need the Barbarian. The reason why I picked the Barbarian personally was simply because I really liked the defensive buffs that it offered in the shouts, in the passives, the options here to do masteries. You'll see here that I don't have masteries because masteries in this game specifically do physical damage, and this is a lightning magic damage build, so it's not really needed. The natural resist is helpful, although it's interesting I had it maxed out and I no longer need that, and I'll explain why. The only DPS boosting skills are technically Battle Command because of the plus to all skills, which I'll get to that shortly, and also Berserk. This was something I added later. The secondary power here for Berserk increases magic damage, so there's that. But otherwise, let's go over the things that are required. So that's the good news. The good news is if you're making this build, you can choose any secondary class you decide. Some others to think in mind if you want to go more for DPS would be a Sorceress for lightning damage. You could do, I believe it's the Arcanist class, which has, again, more options for increasing your damage. So there's flexibility. Okay. Now, what do we need required? absolutely you're going to want to max out the Paladin, right? I always recommend this just because of the stats that you're getting, the strength, dex, and intelligence, the health, and the mana pool as well. We can see here for the barb, same thing, a little bit more in strength, a little bit less in intel, which is kind of unfortunate because we actually, well, I maxed out intelligence because intelligence increased spell damage quite significantly. So, but I digress, right? I have 1 point in charge for the utility. It did get slightly nerfed in that it has a skill recharge cooldown. It's pretty insignificant at higher levels. It says 3 seconds, but you can see here that it shows the tooltip at 1.4 seconds. So it's just wonderful for movement. It's one of the best movement skills in the game, outside of maybe teleport, right? But it has a much smaller mana cost. So that's one of the things I really like about it. And it does damage. You know, nothing significant for this build, obviously, because our weapon damage isn't super high. But what I'll say is that Charge now has a secondary skill that increases its damage. And it might make Charge-it-ins viable. I haven't really tested that yet, but there's definitely potential there. Also, it hits AoE and hits things along the way. So I highly recommend a point charge. It's worth your time. We have Holy Shield here. Holy Shield gives us additional physical damage, which, you know, we convert that to magic damage with some of our skills. We have all damage. We have defense, percent defense, shield recovery, which is important so we don't get stun locked. We have armor increases. We have shield block chance increase. And we have some retaliation damage. So it's a little bit, that part is insignificant, but the defense, the armor, the shield recovery, the all damage, that's all very meaningful. So we definitely want to have that when we're doing any build where we use a shield. So one-handers, right? Of course, Fist of the Heavens must be maxed out. And what's great about this ability now is that it has a chance to release multiple bolts, which is a huge boon to this build. And you're going to see it in action when I show you later. I'm probably going to do another Bale run just because I want to demonstrate the strength of this build. Okay, so you'll notice that there's different fragments that come out. It shows a number here. And there's the interval, right? The main hand weapon damage did get nerfed slightly, but that is an insignificant number as we are not using a weapon that has high weapon damage. And I'll get to some of my recommendations. This isn't a fully optimized build by any stretch in my opinion, but I will show some recommendations that I feel that even a casual gamer like myself who hasn't put an inordinate amount of time into the game can achieve. So that means that anyone really can. Okay, some retaliation damage, small amounts, but we have lightning and magic, and we can see that lightning is a bigger portion of our damage here, but nonetheless we want to have boosts to lightning and magic. We also have a 33% crit damage increase, which is pretty significant. That means we're going to hit harder when we hit crits. Okay. The other thing that's absolutely mandatory now is the new secondary skill that goes only on Fist of the Heavens. It's called Shards of the Heavens. And now this modifies Fist of the Heavens with the bolts. It adds the fragments. It does add a mana cost. So the mana cost is pretty steep now for Fist of the Heavens. But when I was doing it, even though I saw my mana going down, which, can I comment really fast on the UI changes here? I like the way it looks more. Regardless of that, I didn't notice it was a huge problem. And I have so many mana potions that if I really needed to just spam constantly really hard on a boss, I didn't have much of an issue. So it's nothing to be wildly concerned about, especially with some of the items we're using, because we have a decent amount of mana. We get extra crit damage, so now we have more on top of our 33 of another 16. We get lightning, we get magic, and we get damage to undead and demons. All excellent additions too. So in addition to getting more, having a chance for more bolts of the main bolts from Fist of the Heavens, we have additional damage from shards. This is really strong and a huge boon. And I'll show you and I'll tell you some of the different numbers that I saw and DPS wise I was really impressed with. The other two mandatory skills are absolutely conviction. Conviction reduces magic resistance and elemental resistance, as well as defense, making them easier to hit, generally speaking. So we definitely want to have conviction. Sanctuary is a skill that I added on later, before this patch, but something that I discovered that's really meaningful. And what I love about it is that it has a 27-second duration at high level, right now level 33, with a 25.6 second skill recharge. That means we can have it up 100% of the time. And you can see that it adds a flat magic damage, it adds magic damage percentage, it converts physical damage to magic damage, which is very good and meaningful because we have some physical damage that we've gotten from some modifiers such as Holy Shield and other places you might have it. So it converts some of that to magic, which is good. That means it's adding more damage to Fist of the Heavens, which is what we want. It's got additional damage on Undead and Demons on top of our 25% here, which means we're going to be doing pretty good extra damage to Undead and Demons, pretty significant. We get a little bit of a maximum magic resist, which is always welcome, and then there's some bonuses to pets, which isn't that meaningful, right? It's not going to add anything important for it here. The rest we have here is I do have a point in resist fire, resist cold, as well as resist lightning. So I have some points, one in each here. All three of them add percentage damage. So why the fire and why the cold? Well, because it adds a little bit of extra resistance, reduction in burn and frostburn durations, as well as electrocute, and it adds probably most meaningfully is the additional percent to maximum, in this case cold, fire, and lightning resistance. For the lightning one, resist lightning actually adds lightning damage as well, so this one actually matters a bit more than the others. For now, I've only put 1 point into it. I don't feel it's going to add a significant amount of damage to the build, so it's not required to be maxed out because it really depends on what you care more about. If you want more damage or more utility, in this case I opted so far at level 92 for more utility. We do get 4 skill points now after level 90 per level, so whether I'm going to add it more to here for more damage or here, redemption, and what's great about redemption is it's passively activated, which is what I love about this. Passively activated, and as the higher level you get, it activates at a higher percentage of health when it drops low, and what it does is for a period, in this case 7 seconds right now, it will add a percentage of my health and mana, as well as me taking less damage, additional regeneration, and some retaliation, which is insignificant, but it's basically just a way for us to help sustain when we take a really big hit. Okay, so it helps prevent us from getting one-shotted for the most part, which shouldn't really be happening, but nonetheless it helps. So I'm not sure if I'm going to add, I've added a few points into this. I'm not sure if I'm going to invest more here or whether I'll put it here for more damage, but so far that's where we're at, and that's what I'm liking a lot, and it's working really well for me, and I'm going to demonstrate that in just a little bit. But I want to go over, since I do have a secondary in Barbarian, I'll just show what I use and why. Shout got nerfed a little bit, so, and since I needed to add 2 Shards of the Heavens, I took most of my points away from here. The defense did get nerfed, and the armor. The armor is not bad, but the defense definitely took a big hit. So while I like having it at 1 minimum for the extra defense and armor, I didn't feel it was worth the investment. So I ended up taking away from this for more damage in Shard of the Heavens. Okay, so I definitely recommend a point here, possibly more. Whereas Battle Orders is an absolute must because that extra health, flat mana, and percentage of each is really great utility and gives us a lot more life. And you'll see my life will grow significantly from this point based on this, as well as a couple of other things. We have Battle Command, and Battle Command gives us strength and intel, as well as plus to all skills. And when this is capped out from all of our buffs and whatnot, it actually gives +3 to all skills, so it scales even more. So this is a really, really great skill, much better than its counterpart in Diablo 2, and I'd highly, highly recommend maxing this one out. Other utilities that I've added a point into is Iron Skin, increased speed, and increased stamina. In the case of increased stamina, I chose to max this one out. I haven't decided if this is more worthwhile than Iron Skin. I felt the armor scaling on Iron Skin didn't feel nearly as worthwhile. It doesn't add that much defense. It adds physical resist, but I'm already, well, a chance for more, but I'm already I have really high resistances at this point, so it really just depends on what it is you feel you need. Do you feel like you need more life to be able to take hits a little better, or do you like the armor? And in this case, I chose to go with the life, at least for the time being. So, also, the reduced stun duration is not something to be ignored. Okay, total speed is great because it's both attack speed and cast speed, but again, I just don't have the points, so I'm opted to only use just 1 point for now, which I felt was worthwhile. Natural resist was something that I had maxed out, and the resistances were really high when I did. It was over 90% on each, but after looking closely at my my build here, I would see that even now, without the natural resist maxed out, I'm still 38% over the maximum on hell mode. So it felt a bit redundant, and that's without even popping this scroll of resistance. So it just felt really redundant, and I didn't think it was necessary for me to waste the points there. And I was really just looking to move points around, and so that's why I ultimately decided to go with that. So that's where we're at with that. And then lastly, I mentioned earlier Berserk, because Berserk does require us, it only lasts 2 seconds, requires us to use it. So what I'll be doing is going around like this and swinging and then dropping my fist. And you see there, spoiler, showed it was a few bolts there. So it does require us to swing, but for 2 seconds, so I can usually get off 2 shots during that time. We have quite a significant buff to magic damage, as well as the physical damage conversion. So that's really, really meaningful, I feel. Okay, so that's it for the skills. Okay, now I'm going to move on to devotions. And so what I'm going to say about the devotions is I did the best I could to distribute what I felt made the most sense. Because I'm going for lightning and magic, some areas they overlapped, others they didn't. So, and what I recommend doing, generally speaking, is if you're looking for something, so like in this case, if I'm looking for lightning percentage, actually, what I want to do is lightning damage. So lightning damage percent. I'm looking for percent because, oh wait. Okay. Maybe I was supposed to put the percent in the front. There we go. So that's really what I'm going to. And you can see here all the areas are highlighted in red, so I knew which areas I wanted to look for when I was looking for lightning damage. So we can see here that I don't have this one down here, which is 100%. That's pretty significant. There's fire, there's crit, there's cold. So elemental. So this is pretty good too, but it required me to have 18 in green, and I don't have that yet. So there may be some tweaks that I make in the future, but nonetheless, this is where I'm at right now. So what I did was I started in the middle here, and I put 1 in red and 1 in yellow. I maxed this part out here for the magic damage, as well as the complete constellation bonus of 3 blue, 3 green. I went here for a little bit of all damage, total speed, and mana for 3 red. I moved up here for magic and lightning, so these were great because then I would get 3 purple, 3 blue, and I'd get lightning and magic. So like if you look here, right, there's lots of other places where I could get more lightning damage or more magic, right? But the ones that I chose are here. This is 3 blue. It's magic damage, mana, magic, lightning, and magic. Some of these end of constellation skills I didn't get yet. So here I'm up to here. If I got one more, I'd put Arcane Bomb on a skill because it has a 25% chance on attack and it would reduce resistances on enemies. So this could be meaningful. I just don't have the points as of yet, but I will get, I'm sure, more because the cap is 99 currently and I'm at 81. Here I have, again, more. I needed to unlock more blue. So what I did was I looked at the ones that I wanted down here, such as these, right? So these ones have health, magic damage, and then a lot more magic damage. So I looked here and I saw what requirements I needed and I worked off those. So here I needed more magic, elemental, and then more health, and a lot, look at this, 100% magic damage, 100% elemental. Elemental includes lightning. So I looked here what my requirements were and I went for those. Here I also have 40% magic, 30% and elemental. This one has fire as well, but then I got this because I needed it for the complete constellation bonus. So what are the ones that I chose? Let's go over them. They are the Imp, we have the Lion, we have Jackal, we have Wraith, we have the Eel. I went here with the Shield Maiden. This one's definitely optional, but I liked it because of the constellation. I liked the extra shield damage block, the shield recovery time, and more shield damage block. So this one's probably optional, but I definitely liked a little utility there. We went here to the Staff of Ratouche. Here, the Spear of the Heavens has quite a bit of lightning damage and magic damage, so I went all the way up to here. Look at that, 100% lightning, 100% magic. Beautiful. Here is where I put a point and where I may take this off to put it here, or I may just wait from the point, just because it's 40 to all three stats. That's pretty good. And I have here the Hydra. It has a pretty decent constellation bonus. It has elemental damage, all damage. I didn't get those, or I did get those for the constellation. Attack and a little bit of attack rating. But so this isn't finalized. This definitely could use some tweaks. I've also got the Harvest Mains Scythe, 3 of each, purple. It's got some mana, some health, some stats, some regen. Pretty solid for utility. We've also got the Owl. The Owl has all damage, some additional mana skill reduction, some resist. So there's lots of great places to get resistances on here as well. And then the Toad for a little bit. Oh, there's a little bit of magic damage on there. So, you know, could I maybe make it so I could get here? Possibly, you know. But that remains to be seen if I'm going to be able to accomplish that, you know. Like here we have some more lightning damage there as well. But it looks like I would need multiple points to get to there. 4 points there. And I'd probably start here, so I would need 2 there. But then I would need more green to do that. And see if you highlight here, it shows you everything that's green, red, purple, yellow, and that. So just take it as a guide. It's not an end-all be-all, right? There's a lot of flexibility in devotions. I would say the devotions definitely add, but they don't make or break a build. They certainly don't. Okay, so I chose to put most of my stats into intelligence, as long as I had enough strength to equip the items I wanted, right? Attack rating for this build isn't super important because Fist of the Heavens just hits really hard and really well. Defense, you always want to have. The more defense you have, the lower the chance they have to hit you. And then there's your DPS, which is just, I take it with a grain of salt, right? But it does give you a guideline for what you're doing. And then there's armor rating, which chance to hit area based on the armor rating, and then there's the amount of armor absorption. So higher armor is meaningful, okay? I wouldn't worry too much else about the rest. It's going to show you numbers here, but this isn't always going to be 100% accurate, but you can see here we have a decent amount of crit damage, and I think the other maybe important thing would be cast speed. Cast speed here, we have 162%. That's going to help a lot with you being able to cast this as often as possible. So otherwise, that's really the meaningful parts of the build. I'm going to give some just very broad recommendations for items to use. For the shield, I'm using Exile currently. Exile is a pretty high level rune word. I put a gold rune in here for extra attack rating because of other builds when I was using, like with the hammers, I noticed I was missing quite a bit. So it's not so much of an issue, you know, and if I wanted to do smite, for example, as well, and I only have one exile, so it's not so much of an issue for here, but I do recommend a gold rune is really excellent for that 20% increased attack rating, and it gives poison and acid resistance maximum, so it's not too bad. Exile is great. It has plus to all damage, it has defense, health regeneration, more shield recovery times, we've already got a lot of that, good resist, maximum resist here. We've got plus 2 all skills in Paladin, which is the most important, right? We've got boost to smite, and which isn't important for this build, but if we do play smite, it is. We do a smiter din. And then we get the Defiance Aura, which is something, as well as life tap. 15% chance on attack. That helps a lot with sustain. So I highly recommend this. Something else you can use in the meantime before you get that, because it did take me a while to build that up, is the, and let me see if I have it here in this stash. Not in here, it's probably in my shared stash. You know what, I'll just make it simpler, I'll do it this way. So let's go to our cube. Who needs to edit, right? We'll go to defense, we'll go to shields, and I'll show you a very, very, very appropriate shield skill, and that is Spirit here. You need a 4-socketed Monarch. You have a Thul, a Tall, an Ort, and an Am. These are the highest level one is level 11. Anyone can get these and gather these. The hardest part is the Monarch, honestly. I'm not kidding. That's the hardest thing to find. But otherwise, you get strength, mana, defense, casting speed, you get some resistances, and you get plus 2 to skills. Plus to skills is really powerful in this game. The more you have, the stronger your skills are going to be, the more damage you're going to do, the better your defensive buffs are going to be. It's just really, really strong. The more skills you utilize in your builds, the more powerful they are. Okay, because in this case, for example, a plus to skills for my Paladin is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's like getting plus 10 because in a way, not exactly, right, but in a way, because I'm adding plus 1 to 10 different skills, you know. And if it's plus to all skills and you have a secondary class, then it's adding even more value there. Okay. So that's the recommendation I have for shields. For the helmet, I have Delirium. It's a very straightforward rune word. A little bit harder to make, not super, super hard, but you know, I used lore for a long time. Again, just plus to skills. It is kind of annoying when I get hit 1% chance for me to become really tiny. It says I have extra movement speed, but I'm so small that it feels small. Doesn't feel like it goes as fast. I have an opal in here for magic damage just because it works with hammerdins as well, and I do use magic damage. Those I might consider lightning. So the helmet that I'd recommend otherwise. Whoops, why is it not scaling? Okay. Ramble. Oh, they made it into a set. That's interesting. That used to be. It used to just be a rune word, but okay. Let's see. Lore. In this case, we do heavy, just because we want the higher armor. So it gives a little bit of less. That less damage means nothing. Intelligence, defense, light radius, little resistances, and plus 1 to skills. And it just requires a soul, and an Ort rune, and a Grand Crown, which drops pretty often. So that's something viable to use, right? Heart of the Oak is the high-end level rune word that I'd recommend for any of these caster builds. It's plus 3 to skills, it's got lots of resistance, more cast speed, some regen, good chunk of percent mana, a little bit of stats, mana leech. It also gives you, and it shouldn't be discounted, an Oak Sage, which gives me an extra 14% health. So that's really nice. I have the Mal Rune here in it for Crushing Blow. So it also gives you Ravens, but they have a decent amount of life, but in Hell mode they die really fast, so I don't really utilize it very much. A much more budget-friendly one, and again, I'm a casual player. I put over 100 hours into this mod, but in the grand scheme of things, that's not that much. So really anyone can get to this point, and I just pressed and I was able to. But in the meantime, weapon that you can make that is very easy, I'd say relatively easy to make, is Spirit as well. Now you need a 4-socketed Ancient Sword and the same 4 runes as the Spirit Shield. And you can use this at level 25. The shield requires you to be 54, so higher level, right? And it gives +1 to skills, cast speed, mana defense, 18 strength, a little bit of damage, and a little bit of life leech. It's really, honestly, very good for leveling. I used it for a long time. I should also mention that there's another shield called Splendor, which requires a 2-socketed kite shield, and it only requires an F and a Lum, which can be a little bit harder to get. But this one also has some good resistances. It's level 37. It's +1 to skills. It has a -12% skill recharge, which can be good. It has % all damage. It has intel, defense, mana regen, cast speed. This is a very solid shield as well that you can use until you find everything you need and you're high enough level for Spirit. Okay? But I feel that for this build and for really any Paladin build, that Exile is the end-all be-all strongest one all around. So, but that's just my thoughts, on it. Now there is a set you can use called Griswold's. It's a pretty popular set that was used in Diablo 2, and even more so later. Here I have the armor. I have 3 of the 4 pieces. None of them are mythical, unfortunately. Otherwise, I would consider using it. It's pretty good. It's got + to all skills. It's got some resistances. It's got a good amount of magic damage, armor, stats. It's pretty solid all around. Another thing that I'm considering testing out is this build. And this set, I have all 4 pieces right here. What's interesting about it, it has a good amount of elemental damage. Let me see here. So at the 3-piece set has +3 to Fist of the Heavens. So when I saw that, I thought, maybe this is good for Fist of the Heavens. I haven't tested it yet. The 4-piece set has a lot of elemental damage. It's got resistances, +3 to skills. It adds another projectile to Fist of the Heavens, which essentially adds another bolt. That's a lot of damage right there. And then it converts all your magic damage to elemental and your lightning damage to elemental, which means that really any boost you have to any element is going to boost the skill. So that's what makes it really powerful. Okay. So, and there's a 15% chance for Fist of the Heavens to cost nothing. So there's definitely some potential for this build. I don't have any of the pieces that are mythical, and my only gripe a little bit is I would lose quite a bit + to skills because it only has, let's see, I don't think any of the items have + to skills from what I recall. It doesn't seem like they do. So I'd be getting only +3 compared to 3, 5, 7. So that is and 2. So see, there's +9 because of my armor, which I'll get to in a second. So I'm not exactly sure that's worth it just yet. So okay, this armor is Principal. It is a +2 Paladin skills armor. It's pretty inexpensive to make. Here, let's look at the cube really fast. Fortitude, not Fortitude, Principal, sorry. Principal, okay. So Principal is, okay, so it is Gull, so that's definitely one of the, I don't understand why Gull drops so much for me. it drops a lot. For a level 25, this one drops a lot. I found 2 Vexes, Gulls, and I think I found a low. That's the highest I found. So I haven't even found 30 or above yet, in the 100 plus hours I've done. But I like it because it's just health, some damage to undead, block chance, some resist, maximum resist to poison and acid, and plus 12 skills. So it's pretty good. It's pretty solid. I haven't found really better just yet. So, and then the rest really is just going to be based. Like here, I have just magic damage, strength, resistance. Right, nothing too crazy here. Sandstorm Trek, very classic boots. Got great stats. Crit damage is meaningful. Some health, movement speed I value a lot. It has 31%. And armor. So this is a pretty good pair of boots here. Soul Drainer unique gloves. I really like these because they have magic and elemental damage. So this is a very significant damage boost here. I've got cast speed, mana regen, armor. I mean, when I found this, I was just like, you've got to be kidding me, right? And it has a 5% chance to use the Weaken Curse, which reduces target's damage for 5 seconds. So this thing's got just about everything. It's a great pair of gloves, really. Here I have Mantle Weeping Eye. I have a mythical version of these, but I have to be 94 to use them. The only reason I'm using them now still is because they have the intel, small amount of mana regen, which is insignificant, but it has lightning and magic damage on it. So really, I really need to get to 94 because I've noticed that a lot of the really high-end mythical items require 94 consistently there. So I'd recommend finding something, even a rare pair of shoulders with percent damage to lightning and magic. Amulets, believe it or not, I haven't found better than the Telling of Beads. Why? Because it has plus to all skills. That's really it. I put an ectoplasm on here for extra mana, 20% and 2.4 mana regen, as well as an augment for lightning and magic damage here on the bottom, the Gazer Eye. I would use that on more of my items, but it does lock them into the character when you augment something. So I haven't done that just yet. And my ring recommendations will be the Stone of Jordan. The Balkathos ring also has plus to skills and some life leech, so it's also good. But for this build, I don't feel it just levels the playing field like Stone of Jordan, because Stone of Jordan has a significant amount of mana, and you can see here that I added ectoplasms to the Stones of Jordan as well for an additional 20% mana, because believe it or not, it does make a difference. And now that Fist of the Heavens costs more, I really feel like these ectoplasms and the Stones of Jordans are kind of mandatory, right? Stones of Jordan, if you farm normal, Act 4, I did Izual, and I was able to find these two in a couple of hours. I did get lucky, though, because I did try and go and farm another pair for other characters for a few hours total, and I have not been successful in finding any, so take it with a grain of salt, but I was able to find them just farming Izual, and it's really fast and easy, so if you don't mind spending some time in doing that, you will find these, and I assure you that the Stone of Jordan is worth it. Okay. Metals, I'm going to recommend that you find something, unless you kill Ubers and get the obvious best one. Just look for lots of metals of all percent to all damage. This one has that and magic damage, so that's why I went with it. And here I've so far crafted a Spectre Empowered Relic. There are better ones. I haven't really invested a whole lot of time into it just because it doesn't seem like it makes that big of a difference. Nothing that I could find for this build, so go figure. Onto the belt. This is probably all around the best belt in the game, at least from what I've seen, and what's great is you can craft it if you find the recipe, and I found the recipe. Mythical Chains of Anguish. Percent to all damage, 134%. Crit damage, life leech, attack rating percentage, total speed percentage, and plus to all skills. It is hands down. It is. I can't imagine you finding a belt better than this. I found some belts that are pretty good. I found some good ones. This is ridiculous. You do have to be level 82 to use it though, so you do have to be pretty high level. Okay. It does have a chance to curse enemies on attack. Also, something called Anguish lasts 8 seconds. It reduces their damage, movement speed, resistances. So it's that actually matters, especially the resistance part. So that's really it for the guide all around. That's it for the skills. We've gone over the skills. We've gone over the devotions, right? We've gone over some general recommendations for gear. And wow, that took 40 minutes. So, but I did promise that I'd show its power, so that's what we're going to do right now. So I'm going to activate my shouts, my aura. I'm going to drop my, my Templar. I use the offensive Templar, which is from Act 4. I do like the Laws of Valor that it has. It adds 154% to all damage for me, and as well as crit damage and attack rating. So that is really up to you. If I wasn't using a Barb as a secondary class, I would consider coming here to Act 5 and hiring a Barb. I'm using that on my Assassin Sorceress for the battle command. You can also use one to give you battle orders. So if you want more utility, you can go with that. I prefer for the Templar. The Templar also can tank pretty well, so I do like that. Before I forget, I'm going to activate Defiance as well as my Sage. And you can see here now that I added 10,000 life. I was at just under 15. Now I'm just under 25, right? And we've got a good amount more mana. We went up from 11,000 to 17. So we are ready to go. I'm going to activate my scroll as well as my potion of life, add a little bit more life because why not? And now, if we take a look here at our damage per second, our Fist of the Heavens is a 1.837 million DPS. And just to give you an idea, in patch 0.6.5.3, when I use this build, I was doing about 550. And that's with all buffs up too. This is without my buffs. Well, not all of my buffs, I should say. I'm not using Sanctuary here, which is going to buff it even further, closer to 1.9. And when I use Berserk, it goes up to 2.2, somewhere between 2.2 to 2.3. So it's pretty significant. So, let's do it. Now, as far as Act 6, I'm not going to say much. You might have seen just a little spoiler right there. All I'll say is 16. That's it. That's it for now, because until I get through it, I don't want to make an opinion just yet. So, let's see here. You can see that I'm dropping Fist of the Heavens, and several bolts are coming down, and they are just decimating these guys. Okay, let me zoom out here. Okay, I think I know where I need to go. I don't even need to worry about these guys. They are nothing to me. They cannot hurt me very much. I'll take some damage, but because I do so much and I have such good sustain, I have no problems regenerating that life. Oh, okay, never mind. I thought maybe it would be here. I guess I have to try another corner. So this is what I want to see. I want to see devastation. I want to see sustain, right? I want to see that I'm not taking huge beatings from random skills. Oh, okay, there's an elite here. Let's kill him. Oh, okay. Okay, speak of the devil. Looks like there is someone who gave us a run for our money. Go figure. I just now have to put my money where my mouth is, right? I was talking about Bale getting decimated, and there I got decimated myself. Something he did there that really hit me very hard, and I was kind of surprised about that. But nonetheless, that's okay. We're going to go back and we're gonna go get our body, and we're gonna decimate him. Look, the point is you guys can see that this build is viable. You know, if I really wanted to be more careful, I could be. I'm just being happy-go-lucky here, and I'm doing just fine. Okay. I mean, you see these numbers, this damage, right? It is just absolute demolishing these guys, and this is hell mode, you know, so this is pretty good. These guys are some of the most annoying because they drain our mana. Why is he hitting me so hard with my max resistance? Okay, so really all I needed to do was just get in a hit, and there we got most of it. I really dislike dying in hell mode because then you lose quite a bit of EXP. Okay, well, I didn't lose too much. But it just takes so long to level now that dying can really stink because you only get a portion back. So they definitely don't want you to die. Oh, mana regen shrine, I'll take that actually. Guess I should go down here. I'm looking for Bale. Nope. Quite a few guys here. I am very excited, honestly. I'm super hyped just because they just added, they did a lot more balancing. They still made it difficult, but also just made the game more fun by adding some tweaks. And that's always a good thing, you know? Like, we want challenge, but at the same time, it shouldn't be so challenging that a casual player like myself is gonna just get demolished, you know, when I'm trying hell mode, you know? Just even getting to Bale, for example, you know, or getting past that, you know, I got a little bit discouraged with my Assassin Sorceress just because, oh my gosh, look at that, you see that crit? Just because of how squishy I felt I was, you know, and it just made me feel like, well, if I'm not, you know, a paladin or a barbarian, you know, then I have to just be so careful. And I really, you know, for some of us, some people don't mind playing that way, you know, that real, true, like, glass cannon, you know, but, you know, I do. I find it just not as enjoyable, you know. I like to be at least a little bit tanky. I don't want to be getting one or two shotted, you know. Oh goodness, look at these guys. Ooh. Oh, is that it? Yes, it is. Throne of Destruction. I promise you, this is going to be hilarious. Like, I could not believe how much easier he was. And I had to go kill him because if I wanted to get to Act 6, you have to open a portal by killing Bale. And so that's what I did. And I'm going to be playing through Act 6 this week. Oh, Jesus, again. I swear, it's funny, these guys... Okay, there we go. Some of these elites are tougher than some of the bosses. Because maybe it's because you just know what to expect from the bosses if you play these games a lot, you know? But then some of these elites just hit like a truck, you know? You get caught off guard, you know? I really do like the UI. I like it a lot better. Okay, Bale. Yeah, there we go. He dropped his first group. That's what we want to see. Whoa. Oh, we have more minions. Another elite here. So what you can see is I'm alternating between... Oh, stop moving around so much. Alternating between berserks and that. and dropping. I always pick up the perfects because I'm not picking anything else. Oh, looks like my Templar went down. Oh my goodness! What? A low rune. Oh, beautiful! Wow, that is nice. Any high-level runes are just really good. You know, I think this is only my second time finding that. Wait, what number is that? 28. Oh, baby. I am super stoked about that. Come on, people. So I'm just making sure to keep up my sanctuary and drop in berserks when I can. Keeping that up. Is there one I didn't kill? Okay, no, I have. See, when I spam, my mana goes down quite a bit, but then there's periods where I don't need to. Aether crystal. I pick up rares all the time because rares can sell. And gold is... You can never have too much gold in this game. Like, sir, there's so many... In this mod, crafting, there's just so many ways to spend it. It's just insane. I'm going to use a potion just because I'm spamming and I might as well. Isn't that amazing? I just love what they did with Fist of Heavens. It's just so cool. I'm really excited to play through Act 6, complete it, and check out the new endgame. Okay, come on, seriously. Did you guys see that? That was devastation. Alright, Bale. I'm going to go in. So you need the World Stone Keep key. Let's go. Just in case, I don't want to look too arrogant. I'm going to go in here and let's take care of him. We're just going to face tank him. Look at his life going down, seriously. Look at this. Are we going to kill him before he gets to his clones? Yep, I killed him even faster this time. Unbelievable. Serious devastation right there. Windhammer. It's a level 68 hammer that has physical and cold damage. Oh, it's two-handed. Okay. Material, thanks. Open the portal. Let me go back. Okay. Okay, so this is the next spot, the Tomb of the Rodrum, which is what transitions you over to Act 6. So, alright, well, looks like that's it. You know, I hope that you guys like the build and that you see that it's certainly viable, especially if you're not careless like me. Is this better? This looks better. It has health mana. It has intel. Wow. The Harlequin Crest. I've been looking for this item. You have got to be kidding me. Okay. Extra EXP. I'm all for it. I don't have to do the delirium. The terror, the confuse is okay, but... Oh my goodness. I am loving that. Wow. Okay. And now I can put a perfect topaz in here. It gives me cast speed, intelligence, lightning damage. Let's do it. Nice. I'm a happy camper. Wow, that was a nice find. Okay, now I have the delirium that I can just put in here for the time being. Okay. Wow, what a nice find. What a nice find. I can't believe I have not found that yet. This is this not the Shaco, the unique Shaco from Diablo 2? I believe it is. It is excellent. Okay. I'm going to move some of these things over. Bone Chew. Dang, that's a lot of physical damage. Corpse Explosion, +5. That's weird. Bone Spear Nova. Interessante. I don't know if there's anything else there. Crescent Moon. Axe Mastery, Sacrifice, Summon Spirit Wolf. Whoa, it's got a magic damage on it. No, the plus to skills is still better, I hate to say. Alright, where is my ruins? So my highest is 25, so 26, 27, 28. Yes, I put them in order just so I know. Ooh, that metal's not bad. I'll hold on to that. This I'm going to put over here. And then I'm going to sell these. Alright, well, you know, that's it for today, I guess. Stay tuned for more. I'll be doing another build here sometime soon. It'll probably be hammered in. And by then I should have probably cleared Act 6. And so I'll have my thoughts on that as well. And I'm excited to try the new endgame they have, as well as just hopefully start to find some of the new items. And you know, overall I'm definitely hyped. I'm definitely excited about it. And if you were on the fence about trying this, I would say that this game is worth playing if you like Diablo, if you like this type of game. And if you have Grim Dawn, you will need all of the Grim Dawn. You will need the Grim Dawn and all the expansions so far. So you will need the Forgotten Gods and the Ashes of Mammut. You will need all of that to be able to play this mod. Okay, so I will tell you that it's not free. I mean, it is free technically, but you do need to have all the game in order for it to work properly. So I highly recommend giving it a shot. And you know, I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Bye-bye.